the United stand. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a plan to destroy Liverpool's title hopes, but also put Manchester United back ahead of Liverpool. We're talking about that and a massive triple boost for Manchester United ahead of the game on Sunday against Liverpool. But spoiler alert here. Manchester United are not at Liverpool's level, and I think that is something that we need to address. But spoiler alert, it's a little bit like you're 14 years old and you find out that Santa's not real. This is what it's like realising that Liverpool are ahead of Manchester United now. It hurts. It hurts. And, you know, Santa's not going to come when you're asleep on Christmas Eve, and he doesn't eat the Christmas pie. It's your pissed up dad who's been down the pub. It's a reality. It's a hurt. It's a massive blow. But it's about how we move on from realising Santa's not real. And you move on quite quickly. Because give it a little bit of time, a couple of years, and the only Christmas crack you're interested in pulling is the blonde 17-year-old stood at the end of the bar. And the only sack you want to enter is yours all over. No, that's enough. But we move on. But what I'm trying to say in a very, very, very lewd sort of way is that it's a shock when you realise that Liverpool are ahead of Manchester United now. Not just in the league. I think they are ahead of us in many areas. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself would admit that. And it's how Manchester United accept that, because that's, you know, accepting something's not right is the biggest way that you bounce back from it. And we need to accept it, and we need to look at why and how we move past Liverpool. And it's not just about beating them on Sunday. I think we can beat them on Sunday, but I think even if we do beat them on Sunday, Liverpool is still a better team than us, in a better position than us. And what they've done over the last 3 years with Klopp is what we need to do with Ole in a quicker time. We'll be talking about that. But in a more immediate matters, I have got some breaking news for you from today. Manchester United Daily News with Mark Goldbridge. Right. FA Cup game against Wolverhampton Wanderers will be played on a Saturday night of the FA Cup weekend, and it will be at 7:55 p.m. UK kickoff. I'm not doing the high voice anymore. Saturday night kickoff at 5 to 8. We will play Wolves, which I think is around, is it the 15th, 16th of March? Anyway, it's a Saturday in March where we will play Wolverhampton Wanderers at Wolverhampton, and it will be a 5 to 8 kickoff. Lots of people seem to be happy about this. I think it's terrible. We'll beat Wolves anyway. I just don't like the fact. I'm fed up of it. We've played Arsenal in the FA Cup on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. We've played Chelsea on a Monday night at 8 o'clock, and now we're doing Saturday night at 8 o'clock. And everyone goes, "Oh, that's quite nice. I can have me steak and chips. I'll have just let it go through me and have me Saturday night dump, and then I'll sit down with a couple of cans of tinnies and watch United play Wolves. Fantastic. That's Saturday night sorted." And nobody can see what's actually happening. The UK audience, and I love the worldwide audience, by the way, but sometimes you've got to butter your own bread and look after your own piece of bread. And I know what's happening here. More and more UK games are being pushed to 8 o'clock at night to attract the worldwide audience. Now, I'm not necessarily, well, I am against it. You know what? And I love the worldwide audience, but this is the Premier League in the UK, and the games have always been kicking off between 12 and 4 on a Sunday and between 12 and 5:30 on a Saturday. And why are we moving more and more games to 8 o'clock? I don't like it. I don't like that. Because you know one of the big reasons I don't like it, selfishly, because I live in the UK, and when the game finishes at like 10 o'clock at night, or 10:30 if there's extra time, I'm tired at 10:30 after I've done my match reaction. But actually I like to spend a few hours like looking at the fan cams, interacting with, you know, the social media side of things. I just don't like an 8 o'clock kickoff, if I'm totally honest. And I love the worldwide fans. You know I do. You know I appreciate you. But selfishly, I just don't like an 8 o'clock kickoff in the UK. I don't like it. But on to positives, and that might have been a positive for you. A triple crown. I've not been blocked by the 3 biggest dickheads on Twitter. I've actually got some good news for you. Ander Herrera is going to sign a new 3-year contract at Manchester United. This is according to numerous sources in the UK press. We were moaning about that last night. He is out of contract. Fantastic news on that. Also, Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial are expected to at least be on the bench on Sunday against Liverpool, which is absolutely huge for United. Now, Obviously, I think we'd both like to see them start. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. They've been injured for over a week now. They've got to, work their way back, not have any repercussions, not be risked. But if we can get them both on the bench and just start with maybe what we did against Chelsea, and if it's not working, you've got those two, I think that'd be a huge, huge boost for us in what is a massive, massive game for United. Both of them drove into Carrington today, unassisted. And what I mean by that is they're not registered blind or anything like that. What I mean is they drove their cars into Carrington. Now, if you're carrying a bad injury, you might not be able to drive. So I don't know whether they were training with the rest of the team or they were doing rehab work, but they're obviously going to be back a lot sooner than was hoped, which is fantastic news. And I think if we really do if we've got those two back, that would be absolutely great. So really, really pleased with that. But I do want to talk about this topic, which is Solskjaer's master plan. And I think a lot of people, and we might have a few Liverpool fans in here, and if you are Liverpool fans, you're very, very welcome, because I'm actually going to throw a little bit of respect on you and say, right now, you are ahead of us as a club. Which doesn't surprise me. We've really only started our season in the middle of December, and you've spent very, very well over the last couple of years. You've had a long-term strategy. You've got owners who want to invest in the playing side of things, and you want to get Liverpool back on the map of European football and English football. And actually, you know what? You might not have any silverware, but you pretty much are achieving it. Champions League finalists last year, top of the league this year for a lot of the season. Liverpool are doing something right. But, as we know, that's like being told to sit on a bed of roses with big sharp thorns, naked, for 9 months. That's what we're enduring. And United need to get off that bed of roses. Bed of roses, it sounds great. It's not. It's prickly and it bloody well hurts. And if you've not had a tetanus jab, it could kill you. So don't go lying on a bed of roses. It's not romantic. But how do Manchester United move past Liverpool? Because with the gap at the moment is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'd say at the moment, for the last few years, it's been getting bigger and bigger. It's probably stopped now. And there's this uncertainty about whether Ollie's the right man. And I think even if Ollie is given the job now, Liverpool can still move further away because of the investment that they've got, because of the way they're playing football. Ollie needs big investment. And that's the obvious thing. When we're talking about the game on Sunday, I'm not going to talk about that too much now because I've got previews and stuff planned for you. Watch out tomorrow. I've got a cracking preview with the Red Men TV. You're going to really enjoy that. But this is more about how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United surpass Liverpool over the next 2 years and become kings of England. Obviously, Man City, whatever. But Liverpool, I think, are a club that hasn't got oil spunking out their arse, buying everything. Liverpool have actually done it in a way that, I hate to say it, is very, very respectable. They've got the history. They've got the fan base, and they've got owners who, yeah, they've spent a lot of money, but in comparison to what they've brought in, I mean, remember, let's not forget, over recent years, Liverpool have sold people like Suarez and Coutinho and Fernando Torres for a lot of money, and then they've reinvested that money with a little bit of extra money as well, and a little bit of blooming luck. No, I just felt like doing that. But they've done it the right way. And I did a video a few months ago talking about how I think Liverpool are the closest thing to Sir Alex Ferguson's team since Sir Alex Ferguson's team. Apart from, I said that a few months ago, and you've now got Ollie doing it that way. But the way Klopp does it, the way it's 1-1 and with 5 minutes to go and they're still trying to win a game, the mix between British talent and up-and-coming talent and making players better. That, they don't go and sign players from Real Madrid and Barcelona. They go and buy people like Salah and make them better, and Mane and make them better, and Firmino and make them better, and they become some of the best players in Europe. And I think the way that Liverpool did it, if it wasn't Liverpool, I'd give them a lot more respect. If that was Spurs, I'd be like, that's great, brilliant, we should get Klopp as manager. But because it's Liverpool and I can't stand them, they're our biggest rivals, it's hard. So how do United do that? Well, I put a tweet out on @UnitedStan today, and there's a lot of things that I've incorporated into this, and I want to interact with the live comments. But, of course, the first step is to beat Liverpool on Sunday, and I think we will do that. But when I look at Liverpool and what they've done right, and what Ollie will need to do right, we've already ticked the first thing. We've got a manager who is passionate, who understands what our club is all about, and wants the club to play in the way that the fans want the club to play, which is basically what Liverpool got in Klopp. And Ollie, we've got that with Ollie. Obviously, Klopp's not ex-Liverpool, but he gets what Liverpool are about. In Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we've got a manager who gets what Manchester United's all about and wants to play to that way. So we've got that tick. What Klopp has then had to add to his sort of philosophy that goes in hand with what Liverpool fans want He's then had investment over 3 years to get to where they are today. And I think last summer was the icing on the cake because he now has a bench where if things aren't working, he can bring a Shaqiri on, he can bring a Keita on, he can bring a Milner on. Whereas this time last season, if Salah got injured, you're playing Origi and they're screwed. So I think last summer, it doesn't surprise me that Liverpool are in a title race because last year they got to the Champions League. This year they're in a title race because they've added that holy grail of a squad depth, which Liverpool never had. They also added a decent goalkeeper, which they never had. And then in last January, they got the centre-back that they needed. They've ticked every box gradually. They've not done what Man City or Chelsea do, where you just, like I say, you just get an oil gun and just go and just take everything you want. They've done it gradually. And I think they are, again, I'm sort of showing a lot of respect to our biggest rival, but the way they've done it is the way United could do it if we don't go down the billionaire route and our owners actually invest some of the money that we have. You can do it gradually, you can be patient, and you can build something that is going to last. And I think Liverpool will be around for a while because if you look at Liverpool, they've got 2 young fullbacks, they've got the best centre-back in the league in Van Dijk. Gomez is obviously injured, but he will be a very, very good centre-back. And they've got Alisson, who's a good goalkeeper. They've got a defence to build on for a long, long time to come. You look at United, we've got De Gea, we've got Luke Shaw, and then the rest of it, and we've got Lindelof. But the right-sided centre-back and the right-back, they need to be sorted out long-term. Shaw, Lindelof and De Gea, they can be around for years to come, and they can all be very good. Half our defence needs work. You move into the midfield with Liverpool, yeah, they've got Fabinho, I really like him. They've got Keita, I think he will become better. You've got Henderson, who actually was very good last night. You've got Wijnaldum, who is effectively Liverpool's Herrera. He is, an unsung hero. They've got a good midfield. But I don't think we're miles behind Liverpool in the midfield. I think we just lack depth. I think you've got Pogba, who's better than anything Liverpool have got. You've got Herrera, who's as good as anything Liverpool's got. And they got Matic, who, I think we need an upgrade there. It's more about the depth in the midfield for Manchester United. And then the front three, well, Firmino, Salah and Mane have proven over the last 2 years that their front three is way better than our front three. But we've got Martial, we've got Rashford, we've got Lingard. And I think we need another one. I think Lingard almost needs to become a midfield backup to sort of Pogba, and then you bring a right-sided player in. So it's that's the investment side of things. I think that's very, very obvious, isn't it? We need a right-sided player, we need a right back, we probably need another centre back, and we need another midfielder. 4 positions. We've spoken about it a long time. You do those things, and I think squad-wise, you give Ollie a chance to be going toe-to-toe with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City. But it's not just about that. It is about, unfortunately, the investment at the top level. It's about the club. My concern with the weekend is that if we beat Liverpool on Sunday, I don't trust the Glazers to have any knowledge of football. Quite rightly. I don't think they've got any knowledge of football. I think they're brilliant businessmen, but they've got no knowledge of football. And I think if we beat Liverpool on Sunday, they could look at it and go, wow, man, he's done a great job with no money. Let's keep him and spend no money. And then it's like, I think Ollie's almost getting a nosebleed at the moment because he's exceeding expectations so high that pressure must be, give me a bloody space helmet so I can breathe. He's going so high. At some point, it's going to all come apart because you can't win a title with the squad that he's got. So they've got that's going to be the key. I think the other thing I wanted to say as well is that when you look at, I read an article today I think it was on Stretty News with Dale, and then I researched it a little bit more. And if you look at the history of caretaker managers who've done well and then been given the job full time, it's a graveyard. Like, there is no manager in the Premier League. I mean, I've not researched it across Europe, but there is no Premier League manager that's come in as an interim manager like Ollie has and been given the job and lasted very long. Whether you think of Shakespeare at Leicester, whether you think of there's been quite a few, but Pardew at Newcastle, I think he did it. I suppose there's levels to that because what's a good job at Newcastle, and Pardew was there for a while. But the 2 best were Di Matteo and Tim Sherwood, and neither lasted that long. They started well. Di Matteo won the Champions League. I think Sherwood took Spurs to 4th. The following season, both were sacked. So Solskjaer is sort of going to have to, break the mould, really. You come in as an interim manager, you do well, you get given the job, and then you get the sack, is the theme. So that's a very interesting thing. But I want Solskjaer to be manager of Manchester United for a very long time. And I think, as I say, I think he's approaching a ceiling. I think he's approaching the ceiling. I think it's a cocktail of the moment. Brilliant tactical work, passionate manager who understands what the club's all about, and a squad that's engaged. But the longer we go on, some of them things are going to give. I don't think Solskjaer's tactical nous will change. I don't think his passion for the club will change. But I think that squad will start to fracture. Like Lukaku at the moment, if you use him as an example, and I'm using him as a potential fall guy here, but Lukaku at the moment is not going to let it be known that he wants to leave United, because he's not particularly popular anyway. Some fans don't think he's pulling his weight, and you don't want to be the negative, person when there's so much positivity. But over time, he ain't going to be happy, is he? Sanchez isn't going to be happy. A couple of other players who aren't playing games, maybe a Fred, they're not going to be happy. And this is why investment and rotation of the squad's important, and this is where it's outside of Ollie's hands. So, in answer to the question, how do Manchester United, or how does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer take Manchester United past Liverpool? I was looking at a Sky Sports article today, and it was talking about the gap between Manchester United and Liverpool, and they had Letitia, Charlie Nicholas, Phil Thompson, Paul Merson. Obviously it wasn't their genuine opinion. The way it works is they've probably got a script telling them what to say. But they were all pretty much saying that Solskjaer's done a good job, but the gap's massive still. I don't think that gap's that big. I've spoken to a few Liverpool fans this week, and they're a little bit worried about United. They're confident and they're happy, but they're worried about United. And I feel that the gap is there, but it can be closed. And I tell you what, I want to go into your comments now, but for me, the thing that will close the gap between Manchester United and Liverpool, and the reason I haven't mentioned Man City, because we know that they've got loads and loads of money, but the gap between Manchester United and Liverpool isn't all about money. They can't outspend us year on year. We can outspend them if we want to. But it is about investment in the squad. That squad needs 3 or 4 top-class players. And then I think we can close the gap. And that's where I think it comes down to. Simple as that. Make sure you smash a like on the video, everybody. We're not live at 8 o'clock tonight because, as with last night, I did the Liverpool Bayern Munich watch along last night on That's Football. I'm doing Atletico Madrid versus Juventus tonight on That's Football. If you're watching that game and you want to do it as a watch along, you can join me on That's Football. It'll be live just before 8 o'clock. Fred played against Reading, says Eagle Williams. I tell you what, I was going to tweet this today, but I'm going to keep it exclusively for you lot. Fred must be shit. Let that settle for a minute. Fred must be shit, because I trust Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mike Phelan, and I think everybody should trust them because what they've done so far has been absolutely amazing. And I've had times in the last 3 years as a United fan where I've disagreed with Mourinho's selections. I've gone, why is he picking Fellaini over Herrera? Proved right. When we had Van Gaal, why is he picking Fellaini over Herrera? Proved right. Not one bit of me over the last few weeks has been going, why is Solskjaer not picking Fred over Matic or Herrera? Because he's not going to pick him over Pogba. I have queried on the substitutions, like I did on Monday night. Why is Fred not being brought on before Pereira? Why is Fred not being brought on before Scott McTominay? I do query that, but the obvious answer is he's shit. Because there is no way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the sort of manager. He's not a grudge manager. He's not a pedantic manager. He's not an ego manager. There is no way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have a Brazilian international worth £50 million and not use him unless there was a very good reason not to use him. And he must be absolutely terrible, because if you're not getting on the pitch ahead of Pereira and Scott McTominay, then he must be doing badly. And I tell you what, I like Fred. I thought Fred was going to be a decent signing. And maybe it's the old Brazilian curse. I don't know. But I cannot entertain. And I've seen a few on social media saying, it's a disgrace that Fred's not getting game time. It's the only thing I don't like Ollie about. I think in this case, we've not seen any evidence that Fred deserves to start games. When he plays, he tends to be not that good. I mean, I went to the United Wolves game back in September or October, and he took him off after 60 minutes, and he was playing very well. But since then, I think he's been very, very poor. And he just must not be cutting the mustard in training. He mustn't be. And maybe he hasn't got the attitude, I don't know. But it's weird. I mean, the devil wears Prada said Fred is Beppe in disguise. He is a good player. If you saw him playing for Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League, he's a good player. I understand why United signed him. But it's just not worked out, and I don't know why. I mean, Daniel says Fred's a baller, you man are tapped. Mate, I'm not tapped. Anybody who agrees with me is not tapped. I'm not even the manager of Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, and he won't even bring him on for 5 minutes. You give me a legitimate reason other than he's just not good enough at the moment, and I'll listen to it. And I agree with you. I think Fred is a good footballer, but I think we need to accept that he's not getting into the team because he's just not good enough at the moment. And when will he get minutes? When will he get minutes? I don't know. We're sort of running out of time on that. I'm feeling confident about the game. How about you, King Jack Ari, says Ryan Beals. I think a lot of people are feeling confident about the game at the weekend. I mean, if you watched Bayern Munich last night, whether you watched it with me on the watch along on That's Football or you watched it independently, why weren't you watching it with me on That's Football is the question. But I think the game between Manchester United and Liverpool, without going to tactics too much, because we'll do that over the next couple of days, but I didn't see from Liverpool enough last night to make me think they're going to roll up to Old Trafford and play us off the park. Of course they can do. They're a good team, but they don't look as free-firing as they did last year. I think they're defensively better than last year, but they don't look as free-firing as they did last year. They didn't have Van Dijk last night, and I think he is a strong platform. But what I did see from Liverpool last night, and what I would love to see from United, and there's no reason why not, if you think about the first 5 minutes against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, we were pressing them right up into their penalty box in the first 5 minutes. And I think if we do that at Old Trafford on Sunday, we will get the crowd up in the first 5 minutes and they will stay with us for the rest of the game. You've got to get that crowd cooking. We didn't do it against PSG. Get that crowd cooking. And also, I think if you press Liverpool, you know they want to play out from the back. If Alisson gets a little bit nervy, I think, you know what? I'm not going to give my prediction or anything now, but I think it's going to be a cracking game. And this is why we love football, because we're going into that knowing we could lose, but we're also going into it knowing there's a good chance we can win. And it's against our biggest rivals, and this is why we love football. We're all going to be nervous. They're going to be nervous, but it's so exciting. And you know what? I'm actually going to say fair play to Liverpool because, we are the two biggest clubs in England. We've got the best history. We've got the biggest fan bases. We can't stand each other because of that. It's a massive rivalry. But when we come together like this, and the rivalry is huge, we're coming together to create this. It's our two clubs that create this buzz, and we both play a part in it. So whether you're a Liverpool fan or a United fan, it's our two clubs that bring that together. We are the box office clubs, and we should be very, very proud of that. Obviously, it's no consolation if we lose on Sunday night, but I can't wait. I'm so excited for the game. Absolutely cannot wait. Liverpool should be scared of us on Sunday, says Ted T. We're on a great run of form, and all the pressure is on them. If Ole can tactically beat Klopp, we've got the players to win that game, even with injuries. I hope you're right. And Klopp knows how big a test it is as well, says Cinnamon Boy. It's massive for them. It's their game in hand against Man City as well. At the moment, they've both played... City have played a game more, but they're both on the same point. So even if Liverpool draw, they'll go top of the league. If we beat them, they remain second. Garner, Gomez, Greenwood and Chong will come in, so that will help squad depth, says Poopy McPoopface. Yeah, I don't think it's going to help us win the league, mate. We need proper investment. And all will be a good game, but I do not see a defeat for us. City should thank us in advance because we'll be stealing points from Liverpool, says Leon Ranger. You know what, though? Just on that one. We play City at home. Would you seriously... I'm going to read the comments here. Would you seriously let Liverpool... Would you lose to Man City to stop Liverpool winning the league? If that meant you might have to give up 4th place to Arsenal. Because I think that's what's going to happen. And I think you've just got to take care of your own business at the end of the day. I do. I really do. Both Manchester clubs are the best in English football, says Mr. JR450. Well, that's just simply not true. I mean, Manchester City are the best team in the league, I think, from what I've seen, footballing-wise, but they're not the best club in England. And I suppose what do you define as best? I define it as biggest. And Liverpool and Manchester United are the biggest clubs in England. They always will be, and they always have been. They're the biggest two clubs in England, and no amount of oil money is going to change that. You might have the best footballing team, you might win the league, but you're not going to be the best club in my mind, because football's a bit more than just winning trophies. It's about the history of your club, it's about the morality of your club, the fan base of your club, and Liverpool and Manchester United are the biggest clubs. Tom Johnson says losing a derby on purpose is something a small club like Arsenal would do. Well, you know what? The reason I ask it is actually Manchester United in 1995, I think it was, that Blackburn Rovers won the league. Last game of the season, Liverpool were hosting Blackburn and we were away to West Ham. If we beat West Ham and Liverpool beat Blackburn, we were going to win the league. You know what happened? Some of you probably weren't even born. Some of you will be. You know what happened? Liverpool hosting Blackburn, last game of the season, knowing that if they let Blackburn win, United won't win the league. And plus, United have got to win at West Ham. Blackburn lost to Liverpool. Liverpool beat Blackburn, even though it meant nothing. They couldn't win the league. United missed loads of sitters, and I think they drew with West Ham, and Blackburn won the league. So there's the prime example of it for you, that Liverpool had no reason not to let Blackburn beat them, so that Blackburn won the league and we didn't. And they did beat Blackburn, and we blew it. Man United and Liverpool are the best and the biggest, says Daniel O'Rourke. I was born in 1981, says Dilly Dilly. A little bit younger than me then, mate. Liverpool won and we still lost the league. I was gutted, says Tyrone Williams. Yeah, but it just shows you, there you go. Bob Paddock makes a good point though. If we lose to City and Liverpool, we probably won't get top 4. And that's why it's important to us on Sunday. I don't know who Arsenal are playing at the weekend, but I think it's quite an easy game. So if we lose to Liverpool on Sunday, Arsenal will have already won their game. Can you imagine how horrible that's going to be on social media? Not only will we have Liverpool fans ripping the piss out of us, we'll also have Arsenal fans going, we're 4th. So it's a massive game. I'm not going to mess about here and try and pretend it's not what it is. It's an absolutely massive game for Manchester United. I can't wait for it. But if you're not watching live, get in the comments below and give us your thoughts on how United long-term surpass Liverpool. Because biggest rival or not, I think the way that they've done things over the last 2 years, and their ownership especially, should be applauded, because they've bought the goalkeeper and the squad players in the summer. They got Van Dijk last January. They've built a very solid back 4. They've got that great front 3. They've got numbers in the midfield. They've built a team that's going to last for years to come. Whereas United, I think we've got half a defence. We've got 3 good midfielders who need depth, and we've got potential forwards, and we need another one as well. So investment is the key for me. I think we've also probably got the manager with the right ethos. He can do for United what Klopp's done for Liverpool. But we need investment in our squad. That's the thing for me. Maybe some of you disagree. And for those who are joining a bit late, triple boost for Manchester United. We've got Herrera signing a 3-year contract incoming, according to reports. And Martial and Lingard are expected both to be involved for the game at the weekend, which is a nice little boost to have on a Wednesday night. Anyway, please smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, get involved with that. And if you are going to be watching Atletico Madrid versus Juventus tonight, get yourself on That's Football. Just type it into YouTube, That's Football. You'll see the watch along stream is there. The live chat is open, and I'll be going live on there in about 20 minutes with a watch along. Juventus versus Atletico Madrid, Ronaldo and co. I'm looking forward to it. Join me for that. Thanks everyone. Tomorrow we've got the preview with Redmen TV coming up. We've got a Liverpool fan on tomorrow night. We had him on before, Craig, so that's going to be good. We're building up towards a massive game. I don't think there'll be a game bigger than this season. Even if we play Man City in the FA Cup final, I don't think it's going to be as big as this. There's too much riding on it. Liverpool's titles hopes, United statement hopes, United keeping hold of that 4th place hopes. It's too big. And also, it's United versus Liverpool, which is the biggest game in English football. So this is going to be it. We're going to be building up towards it. Make sure you've got your notifications on. I'll see you on the watch along on That's Football if you're joining me for that. Thanks for watching.